Okay, good afternoon, everybody. 5 o'clock and we need to start the session. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me well. So if you want to just raise your hands to make sure that everything is okay and that you can hear this recording. Okay, great. That's excellent. So if anybody has a problem, you know, just tell me so we can try and fix it. Good. Glad it's okay. Matilda? Yes. Let me tell you what happened. I've been having problems trying to connect, and then we discovered that there's a problem with the timing. According to my schedule, the course starts at 3:15 hours. But according, obviously, to the sessions, it starts at 5 o'clock, not 15 hours, which is 3. So we established that, and I think we can start now the regular courses. Last Wednesday I was here also, but I was here also at 3 o'clock, and I did some of the session. The session I did was recorded, but as you told me, the voice wasn't clear and the session wasn't clear. But you know, it was just a trial. I wasn't doing anything. I was playing around with the recording to make sure that everything was okay. So don't worry about the session that was recorded last Wednesday. Now this Wednesday is our official time for the online course. Now, obviously, this is the semantics course, semantics 438. You have a series of lectures. Obviously, this has already been prepared previously by Dr. Tawfiq. So he is the one who originally developed the lectures. Now, he developed the lectures based on a book which is called Semantics, a Course Book. And it's by Herford and Heasley. And it was previously available in the library, in the bookstores, but apparently we're having some. Yes, Jumana, you are required to study from the book. Obviously, the lectures are there, but this book is the one that is assigned to the course. Okay, and as you know from the Amadat al-Ta'lim an Ba'd, you have to have a textbook. And this is for your own good. You know, I always tell students it's always better to follow the lectures with a book, because the book is much more comprehensive, it has more study guides, it has more questions. And this book is good. It's not that it's bad. The new version, the 2007 version, is very good. Has a lot of study guides and exercises that will help you understand the lectures even more. So take it from me. Do not rely only on your lectures. These are not enough. The lectures are there. They are developed by Dr. Tawfiq. They are very well. They have a lot of exercises, and I suggest you go ahead and do them. Especially towards the end, lectures 16 and 15, it has a lot of revisions and exercises that you can do. I will be giving you additional lectures as well, but I don't want to confuse you. My lectures would also be from the same book. I will just give you additional information and explain it even more. So you can, attend the lectures, understand what's happening, and then go back and look at Dr. Tawfiq's lectures, and these will also be more helpful for you as well. Now, as I said, semantics, a course book. The problem is many students told me that they couldn't find it in the bookstores, and I myself looked, and yes, sure enough, I did not find it in the bookstores. So what I said, and if you guys looked at your Blackboard today, I did send you a couple of messages. The first message was the syllabus. So if you look under the course information, you will find the syllabus and a calendar for the course. Now, what I did here was just gave you the every Wednesday session what's going to happen, right? And so we're dealing with the book, but the book is from chapters or units 1 to 11. So these are the units that we're going to look at, 1 through 11. And the calendar in your syllabus, you will find every Wednesday which session we're going to be dealing with, or which unit we're going to be dealing with. Also in the calendar, you will find the various activities and the tests and the quizzes that we want you to do. Now, just to go back and remind you one more time, distance learning, you have 70%, as you know, goes to the final exam, right? So the final exam is worth 70%. What you're doing here is looking at the rest of the 30% that we're looking at. And I just want to go from the very beginning and tell you in details what really happens in this 30%. Now, I know you've done this before, you took other courses, but it's always better just to go back and remind ourselves. You have 30% that is remaining, and this is assigned as follows. We have assignments, right? Now, these can be tests, they can be quizzes, they can be short questions, they can be anything, right? And we have a series of 4 assignments, and these 4 assignments are worth 12%. So if you break it down, 4 assignments by 4, each assignment is worth 3, right? So we have basically 4 assignments, and each is worth 3. And you probably see that I uploaded today, this morning, assignment number 1, which I said is should be with referring expressions, what we call reference or referring expressions. You don't have to do it now. I just put it on the board so that you can look at it and try to understand what's happening. But it's not due yet, okay? You still have time for that. In the calendar, it tells you when the first assignment will be due, right? I put that in red. So everything that is red will tell you when is the due date for these specific assignments. To help you some more, I will also upload it to the calendar. Now, the course book, the Blackboard has a calendar, and I will just tell you important dates in the calendar itself. So each assignment is worth 3. And then in addition to the assignments, we have activities. And these activities could be anything also. It could be tests, it could be questions, it could be an outside activity that I ask you to do, it could be a presentation, anything that I choose to think of. And these basically are 2. And they're worth 12. So 12 means that each activity is worth 6, right? And most of the time you will find that these activities are quizzes or tests. So a test or a quiz will be 2 quizzes, and each one of them is worth 6 points. Okay, and you will find those also listed in the assignment in the calendar for you. Now, remember that this calendar is subject to change. I can change any time. Suddenly, I might have something wrong in the calendar. I might give you a wrong activity, for example. Anything is possible. So don't. If you have a problem and you think there's something wrong with the calendar, please come back and tell me. Okay? Yes, Zainab, I know you already received your first assignment. It's there. And this is on referring expressions, but obviously we didn't do the referring expressions yet. So just keep them in mind. And so when we do come to the referring expressions, you will be able to look at them, okay? And again, as I told you, if you find that there's anything wrong, don't get confused, you can go ahead and start a discussion board. You know, go into one of the threads, send me a message. And you'll probably see that I divided you up into groups. There's, I think, 5 or 6 groups. And so you can go into any of these groups and write a message, or write a message to me directly, or discuss it among yourselves in class. You know, anything is possible. And also the last thing that we have are the forums. And these forums are 3, and obviously they're worth 6%. Now, if you notice, 3 forums, each 6, so that means 2 each. So 2 points for each forum, right? Now, that will be the total of 30. It's always best to think of it like this. This way you won't get yourself confused. You will know that you have to do the forums, you know that you have to do the activities, you know you have to do the assignments, so you don't, you know, you don't want to lose those 30%, right? Okay, now, what else did I want to tell you? Yeah, as I said, the syllabus is there, and the calendar is there, and I think what else I wanted to tell you about where you can find the course book. If it's not there available in the bookstores, there is an online version. Okay, it's a PDF version, so you need to have a PDF application. But even if you don't have a PDF application, it will still open for you. But PDF application is much better, because this way you can see a table of contents at the side. You know, on the side you will find a search, so you can go in and search the book, which is much better, right? But if you look at the book on the version as is, a non-PDF, you won't be able to see all the table of contents, and you won't be able to search and find out specific things for you to study. In the syllabus, I gave you the web link, the page link for that specific book. Now I'm going to try and go now to the web, and I have you following me. I just want you to see where it is. Let's hope this works. And I'll find the URL. Okay, let's see if I can, if this happens with the URL. There it is. I'm not sure. Can you see this or not? Okay, can you see the URL for the book? Yes, everybody, raise your hands. You see it? The PDF file? Okay, yes, that's fine. That's what we're looking at, and obviously it's you just move page by page. Now again, this is not the PDF file, because if it was a PDF file, I don't know what happened to my PDF format. It's just not working very well. But you should have, like, in the side, a table of contents with all the things that you can search. So again, this is the book, and as I said, it is a very well written book, so you don't need to have any problems with it. I just also want to tell you how the book is formatted, so that you can understand what's happening. The book has a number of basic items. It has a series definition, it has a number of practices, and it has various comments. If you look over here, there will be a definition, a comment, and a practice. And it also has something called rules. Now the rule is also very, very important. And so basically what they do is they give you the practice, and then underneath the practice they give you the answer for that practice. So if you look here on page 6, here's a practice where it says yes, no, and at the end there's a feedback, and the feedback gives you the answers to those practices. Now, obviously, this format is helps. Now, I'm going to leave the page and go back here. This format helps, as I said, it helps you because it gives you the basic items that you're looking for. You're looking for definitions of major terms, and that's all there. So you need definitions. And in addition to the definitions, you have practice. And if you notice in the practice, most of the practice is all true or false questions. Now here we have to stop a little bit because although the book depends on a true and false format, in your final exam, you're not allowed to have a true, we're not allowed to give you true and false questions. Okay, so these true and false questions are no longer possible. What's we're looking for is other types of questions, but definitely not true and false. So again, the practice, most of the practice is true and false, but just to make sure, the final exam will not be a true and false. It will be basic, for example, provide me a definition of entailment, for example. That's what we call a short answer question. Or I give you a multiple choice and tell you to define it. Now, I also want you to remind you people that you can use the chat, but if you want, you can also use the mic. I have given you microphone power, and the microphone is working okay. So if you do want to ask me a question using the microphone, you can. Or else just you know, write something in the chat and I'll see it. So the practice has a number of true and false questions. In your final exam, this won't be true and false. You will have what we call a short answer. And a short answer question is basically a short essay. I don't want to call it an essay because you might think, you know, I have to write 2 or 3 pages. No, that's not accurate. All you have to write is a small paragraph, like half a page. For example, I can tell you distinguish between semantics and pragmatics. And distinguish means say what the difference is between semantics and pragmatics. That's what we mean by what we call the distinguish question, really, because this is what's happening. It's always distinguished between many things. And so when you find this distinguish, and sorry, it's written wrong, but when you write this distinguish, you're really trying to say how these two things are similar and how they are different. So first you can say something like semantics and pragmatics both deal with meaning, and then you can say how they are different. So the first thing that we're looking for is what we said as the definitions. And under the definitions, you can always have a number of short answer questions. Now, what else can you have in the final exam? You can have multiple choice. You can have multiple choice questions where I give you, for example, a series of 3 or 4 answers, and you'll have to choose the most appropriate one. And you also have the fill in the blanks. This is where I give you a blank sentence, or a sentence that has a blank point to tell you to apply it. For example, I can say, Semantics is the science of, and here is a blank, and you'll have to say semantics is the science of meaning. Okay, because this is what semantics is. It studies meaning or attempts to be a science of meaning. So this is the fill in the blanks. And then finally, you can have a lot of practice questions. Practice questions like, for example, in the assignment that I gave you, underline the referring expressions. Or I can tell you circle the predicates. So the practice would be also one way of using the final exam. Okay, so nothing is going to go beyond the lectures. Everything is there. Only units 1 to 11. You don't have to study anything else. The book is good for you. It has a lot of other questions and study guides, so I suggest that you use the book. You don't have to go out and buy it. It's very convenient. It's there for you. All you have to do is download the PDF file, which is there for your benefit. Okay, now, does anybody have any questions so far with what's happening with the final exam and what's happening with the 30 points that we have? Okay, everybody okay here? Fine. Okay, let's now turn to the what I want to the lectures that I want to start with. Okay, and remember, there are lectures that you have in your course content, and there are lectures that you will find me uploading here from the whiteboard. Two different, the same book, but two different ways of looking at it, or just more practice for the same thing. So let's go now to our first lecture. Let me just upload the file for you so we can okay. Again, this is from our course book, and we start with Unit 1. And let me again remind you, there are it's not, what are you trying to say? You have attend. Are you talking to me or are you just saying something? I'm not really sure. But in any case, this is the URL that I said is there for you. The URL for the online for the book. It's at npu.edu.ua, and then you can go from there and you can find the books, Semantics of Course Book, or you can take the whole link itself, or you can just Google it online. Just say Semantics of Course Herford and Heasley, and the link will come up for you. In any case, what we want now is to start with our first introduction to Unit 1. And Unit 1 just gives you what semantics is. And the first thing that you will find is a definition. Now, remember what I told you about the book. The book is, the format of the book is a little bit different from your everyday format. She's asking if she could not attend. I want to tell you something very important, guys. Watch out. attending the live lectures are very important because you get graded on it. It's not me that gets graded, it's not me that grades you, it's the system. So if you don't attend, you're going to have problems. You have to attend. Less than 25, if you have more than 25% not attendance or non-attendance, you are not able to enter the final exam. So that means 4 lectures. If you miss 4 lectures, that is 25%, and you cannot enter the final exam. You get a grade of TN. So watch out, people. Attendance is very important. You have to attend live synchronously. You cannot record and then later on watch the recording and still get the grade of attendance. Attendance means you have to attend the live lectures and also participate in the forums. Now, if you go to the forums, you're going to spend some time doing the forums, right, in the discussion. And the system records how many times you went into the forum, how many times you participated, how many times you sent a message to your colleagues in the class, how many times you participated in a discussion, not in the chat that we're having now in our session. That's not the discussion board. By participation, I mean in the forum. And in your calendar, if you look under the syllabus, you will find the forums that I'm gonna establish for you. So right now I only have one forum, one discussion guide, but I will be setting up a series of other forums. Now you have to participate in each and every forum, and you can't participate just by saying yes, no. That's not participation. You have to really actively participate, because I have to see it and I will reply. And if I see you saying yes, no, and not participating, the system automatically records your participation. So watch out, people. And it's not only you that gets evaluated and given a grade, also me. If I don't go into the lectures, if I don't participate, if I don't go into the discussions, if I don't give you chats and forums, the system will tell me that I didn't do my job. Everything is recorded. And at the end, في نوع من الإحصائيات. You can tell, في جدول كده كبير, it tells you which student participated where. And if you have a low attendance and low participation, the system itself will give you a bad grade. It will give you a percentage of how many times you entered and left the forum. So you have to be very, very, very careful. It's like you're being monitored. Okay, it's just like you're sitting in a room and you're being videoed. Every little action that you do, everything that you not do is recorded. And so you have to watch out, okay? So I do not have any slides. I can't give you any slides except the one that I upload here in the sessions. You can always go back to the sessions, obviously, and view it. But I can't, send you a file with the PowerPoint, because you have to watch the PowerPoint that is developed by Dr. Tawfiq. Fatma, are you trying to say something? Yes. Watch out, people. Your mic is on. So if you press the mic, I can hear everything. And your name will appear. Okay, so watch out. Okay, so have we got that established? Shema, do you understand now what's happening? Do you have another question, or does that answer whoever asked the question? I think it was, who was it? Okay, Asma. Asma, you're the one who asked the question. So now you know. As I said, no slides. I won't be able to send you any slides. The best way to do it is to look at the lectures in the course content, read the book, and listen to my lectures as well, because you have two sources of lectures, okay? You have Dr. Tawfiq's lecture, the one in your course content, and also you have my recorded sessions as well. Both of them will help you. Yes, you have to attend to get the desired mark. There's no way, okay? There's no way that you can watch the slides only and get a grade for it. You can't, okay? So, and that goes well for that goes as well for all the courses that you attend. Okay, you're monitored constantly, and you cannot just not show up for lectures, especially. In any case, Fatma, you want to know whether semantics with morphology? Yes, there's no problem. Semantics and morphology are fine. There's absolutely no problem. We used to have a problem with semantics and syntax a little bit, but now it doesn't even matter anymore, because this book that we're using now in the distance learning is a little bit different from the book that we're using for our regular students. For our regular students, there's a lot of syntax there. And so that's why we say, you know, syntax is very important with semantics as well. Here, it is important that you know the structure of a sentence, but it won't be that difficult. You know, you don't have to have a syntax class for you to understand semantics. Okay, so let's start. And again, as I told you, there are 11 units that we're looking for. The book is made up of definitions, something called a comment, something called a rule, and then practice. These are the 4 basic items of your book. And it also obviously has the feedback. Now, what is the feedback? After every practice, and most of the practice is yes or no, they will give you the feedback, the answer to the practice. So you learn through doing the questions first and then checking to see if you got the right answer or not. And most of these questions are true and false. As I said, the final exam will not have true and false. It's just the way the book is formatted, true and false, a book with the feedback to help you know the answer immediately. Now, the section that is called comment, be careful, comments is very important. Why is it important? Basically, because it's in the comment that you get all your theory. You get all your explanation in the comment. It's called a comment, but it's not a small issue. It's not a malhuda صغيرة. No, it's the main theory of the book is in the comment area. And so watch out when you look at these comments, because they're also very important. Also important are what we call rules. Rules are very important. They give you the basic rules of semantics there, and it's there in a short 3 or 4 lines. Now, are these important? They are, because in a typical exam, I can ask you, what is the rule for entailment, for example? It's there in the book. You have to know it. So anytime you have a rule, this is important. Anytime you have a definition, that's also important. And the practice is supposed to be there for you so that you can practice whatever is written there in the comment. So the format of the book is a little bit different. You just have to get used to it at the beginning. And also, at the end of every section, or at the beginning of every section, we have what is called a test, or an entry test. You'll see it now as we look through the slide. The entry test is just to help you realize whether you know the section previous or not. Because if you don't understand the entry test, it tells you go back to the chapter and study it well, because you still don't know what's happening. Okay, so entry tests are also very important. At the end of the book, there are a series of, at the end of each chapter, there is a study guide, a series of questions that will help you explain what is happening in the unit even more. Now, these study guides are very important. Many of the assignments that I will give you, or the activities that I will give you, are from the study guides. Okay, I'm not going to give you anything that is, completely different. Most of them are from the study guides. The only difference I think that will be there from the difference between the book and what I'm saying here is that in the activities, I will give you an area where you apply semantics to Arabic, because this book obviously deals with English semantics. But semantics is a universal issue, it's a universal discipline. It can apply to any language. And so in the discussion area, in the forum, I will give you a chance to see whether we can apply some of these areas to Arabic as well. Somebody was asking me if there are going to be essay questions. Again, I explained this. It's not an essay question, it's a short essay question, meaning that all you have to give me is like half a page. And I will, in the exam, I will give you the space. So let's go to a new page now, and I can give you an example. For example, as I said the last time, distinguish between semantics and pragmatics. And then I will give you the lines, you know, let's say, how many lines I want you to write. Now, if you write what you want to write by some more, you can, but in general, you know, you don't have to write any more than what I tell you to. It's just going to be that big and that small, okay? So don't worry about the essay questions being very hard. They're not that difficult. They're just small essay questions, not a major thing that you need to look at. Okay, so distinguish between semantics and pragmatics, and then you have a series of lines that I'll tell you how long it will take you to do that. Okay, so it's not a big thing. Most of the essay questions are from the definitions, because there's a definition of semantics and a definition of pragmatics. Or it could be also from the rule. I can tell you, explain the rule of entailment, for example. Or it could be from the comment when there's a theory. Maybe there's a theory of reference, and I will say, discuss the theory of reference. All I need for you to do is write, let's say, 300 words, which is like half a page. Okay, so let's go back to our content here, and okay. So, the first definition you will see in unit number 1 is a definition of semantics. And as it tells you, semantics is the study of meaning in language. And the word meaning is highlighted here, obviously, because obviously this is the main word that you want to look at. It is the study of meaning in language. And sometimes it's also called a science of meaning. Semantics is the science of meaning. And so what do people do who are semanticists? There they are, the semanticists. What do they want to do? They just want to explain and clarify meaning. الدلالة أو المعنى. And obviously the science is kind of hard because we don't really know what meaning is. It's very easy to write the science of syntax because it's all, you know, very grammatical. Or the science of phonetics because, you know, you just sounds and you're dealing with it. But what is it that we have to do when we study science? And for the science of meaning, And for a long time, الدلالة نفسها or علم الدلالة was not part of linguistics proper. It was part of philosophy. Or it was also part of what we call logic or mantiq. Now, why was it a part of logic? Because you think in words and you think in meaning, so it was just a part of logic. And it is important for you to note that logic or mantiq was developed by Arabs. Our first, the medieval Arab, Sibawayh and all those others, they're the ones who established the idea of logic and how to think logically. So it's not really that the Western people, Al-Gharb, are the ones who developed it. We did. Our Arab philosophers in previous ages. But as we moved on, even Chomsky, even in the Western world, they tried to put a meaning in the area of philosophy or the area of logic. Now, the thing is, the reason why, as you said, well, it's not really, Jumana, I know what you mean by Madhab al-Sufi here and in Mantiq, but it really didn't start with Madhab al-Sufi. It just started with the idea of, even with Ibn Sina and even with Sibawayh, they just wanted to understand what is meaning. It later became Sufiya, maybe when they went too much into the idea of logic and meaning, but before that it wasn't. It was just meaning. Now, as you know, and I'm glad you thought of that, you said this, Jumana, because Mantiq is always has a bad connotation. Connotation means bad feelings, especially in Saudi Arabia. Not anywhere in the world or in the Arab world, but especially in Saudi Arabia. You say Mantiq and people think you're going crazy, or you don't believe in God, or you are liberal, or that you have janib ilhadi fiha, or not a strong belief in God. But I want you so that you'll be comfortable in the course, not to think of meaning in this way. Meaning it's in language. We're looking at the meaning in language, not meaning in the sense of philosophy. We don't want to philosophize. We don't want to think about the existence of God or existence of angels or existence of whatever. We're just thinking about the meaning, the science of meaning itself, the meaning of words, the meaning of sentences. Not the meaning in terms of philosophical and al-umur al-ma'nawiyya. No, it's not that. It's not shay' ma'nawi. It's more concrete. We're just dealing with words and their meaning and sentences and their meaning. And it's also important to note that all over the Arab world, we have a course called logic or mantiq that is studied by everybody. All over the world, mantiq is part of high school. They take it. And even in college, Logic 101 is essential, basic reading for everybody. Now, what they take here is not about, Sufiya and philosophy and things like that. No, it's really practice in how you should think logically. That's all. Thinking logically, thinking with reasoning. It's reason. And we also want to make sure that you realize that the mantiq fil Islam or fil Quran is very, very important. لأنه القرآن بيخاطب أولي الألباب, people with reason. And the Quran is always telling you تدبر وتفكر. You have to. You cannot be a human being without thinking of God. And even, for example, Abraham, Sayyidina Ibrahim, was thinking about who is my God, where is God, and God answers him. But here we're not going to do that. We're not going to think about God because we all know that God exists. This is not a thing that we talk about now in logic or in semantics. Everybody realizes that God exists and we do not question God. What we're doing here is basically, even if the book sometimes refers to something like that, we don't want to look at it, because what we want to look at is words and their meaning. And that's all. Thinking logically, and as you say, thank you, Shema, clarifying ambiguity. If there's something that is not clear, we want to clarify it. And the only way you can clarify it is if you look at the meaning, either of sentences or of words. And it's also important to realize that we can think of what we call, sometimes arguments are a matter of what we call preference. What do we mean by preference? It means that it's a matter of for example, I like chocolate ice cream and you like vanilla ice cream. That's a matter of preference. You like this, I like that, but you can't say which one is better. There's no way that you can distinguish between whether ice cream chocolate or ice cream vanilla is better. You like bananas, I like apples. Is there any way of saying whether the banana is better than the apple or tastes better than the apple? It's obviously a matter of personal choice, a matter of preference, what you prefer. And it's the same thing with religion. I am a Muslim, you're a Christian. We cannot discuss religion because there's no argument. It's a matter of preference. What you like and what I like is not a matter for discussion. So when we are in logic, we do not discuss issues of preferences because this is not going to be logical. We discuss issues that have reason. Tadabbur, utama'un, tafkir. And obviously our religion, Islam, is a religion of reason. It's a religion of mantiq, tadabbur, and that's why we say we are going to study the science of meaning so we can understand the meaning of words. We do not want to go anywhere beyond that. So is that clear for everybody so that you don't have any bad feelings about the course or negative feelings about what you're doing here? Also notice, just to make you understand what's happening here, in Saudi Arabia we don't teach mantiq, right? Everybody else in the world teaches it, but we don't. But what happened is that we realized that students sometimes do not understand basic things. Students in the West understand more quickly because they took this course before. They took it in Mutawassit, all the way up to Thania Jama. So they have 6 years of mantiq, while we in Saudi Arabia don't have any years of mantiq. So what the universities did and what we're doing now is going into what we call qiyas al-lughawi. You guys did your qiyas, for example, the exam. It's all based on al-lugha, al-ma'na al-lughawi. And it's supposed to be some kind of intelligence test to see whether you understand the meaning of words and the relationship between words or not. And again, this is exactly what we're doing here in this book. It's just an attempt to make you think clearer, to think with more reasoning and more objectivity. So we've finished with what the definition of semantics is, and the aim of a semantics is to explain and clarify the nature of meaning. Now, the first thing that we have to do, we're trying to make a theory of meaning, right? A theory, nadari. Because if we're going to be a science of meaning, we have to have a theory, right? You can't have a science without having some kind of theory behind it. And so in semantic theory, the first thing that you want to do is to distinguish between what speakers mean when they say something, what speakers mean, and what the sentence means. So we have two things, speaker meaning and we have sentence meaning. So what is speaker meaning? The definition is what a speaker means or intends to convey when he uses a piece of language. So he's going to use some language, and by using this language, he wants to say something. So it's speaker meaning. But there's also something called sentence meaning. Sentence meaning is the actual meaning of the sentence itself. It doesn't have anything to do with the speaker. It's what is the equivalent of the language, what you understand from the sentence in that particular language. You can translate it into English, you can translate it into Arabic. It's the meaning of the sentence itself. Now, there is a classic example of how we can use, how two people can use the same words to mean two different things. Now, as we said, the same sentence can be used by different speakers on different occasions to mean different things. And they give you an example in the book of nice day. Now, in the book, it tells you that there's a conversation between two people who meet in the bus stop, and one says to the other, nice day. Nothing more, it doesn't mean anything, it's just a friendly chat. You can take the same expression, nice day, and use it, for example, you're having a serious discussion with your friend, for example, and you go into an argument and you're having a fight. And then in the middle of the fight, you say, nice day, and you leave. So you use nice day in a different kind of way. You're using nice day to mean two different things. As we said in the chats, you're saying that it's two types. Yes, it is. It's two types of meaning, the speaker meaning and the sentence meaning. And also, yes, Zainab, you're right, it's the literal meaning and the figurative meaning. Figurative, yes, like raining cats and dogs. The speaker has a different thing. He doesn't really mean that it's raining cats and dogs. He has other meanings behind them. And so sentence meaning is the direct meaning of the sentence itself. The speaker meaning is the meaning of the person who said this sentence. As we said, nice day can either mean, I don't want to talk to you anymore, I want to leave. Or nice day can mean, oh, it's a nice day today, let's chat. What other examples can we have? For example, we can have also an example where it is you're saying, I am hungry. Okay, now here is a piece of language, right? It's a statement. And it just says, I'm hungry. Now, if you change what we call the context is the time, the place, and the people who say it, the speaker. If you change the context, it will have completely different meanings. If I am hungry is said by a beggar, for example. Let's say you're walking down the street and you see a beggar, and the beggar tells you, I'm hungry. Now, what does he really want from you? This is a beggar. You know what a beggar is. Shahat. You're walking down the street, you meet a beggar, and he says, I'm hungry. He means what? Yeah, he wants you to give him food. He wants you to give him money. And that's why he says, I'm hungry. So he didn't really actually say it directly. Please give me money, or I want some money. No, he just said, I'm hungry. But you understood the sentence meaning in addition to the speaker meaning. And you didn't take, you can't say, oh, you're hungry, so what? It doesn't work like that. You understood immediately what he was trying to say when he said, I'm hungry. Now let's change the context a little bit, and now it's not a beggar. Let's say it's a child, and this child doesn't want to go to bed. You're trying to make him go to bed, but he suddenly says, I'm hungry. Yes, Shema, he's trying to delay. Doesn't want to go to bed. And to delay, he just says, I'm hungry. So he used that particular piece of language in order to convey a message, but indirectly. Now, you, as a speaker, because you understand the language, and because you have mantiq, you're able to listen to his words and understand the speaker meaning, not only the sentence meaning. Now change the context even more. Now it's not a beggar. Now it's not a child. Now let's say you're two friends speaking to each other. Or not friends, you're trying to get to know this person, you know. You're two girls going out. They meet each other in the university and somebody says, I'm hungry. Yes, Shema, let's go for lunch. Let me invite you out for lunch, you know. You're trying to get that, to know that person more. So it's an invitation, really, to go out. Nobody told you that's an invitation, but you understood it. Because the context, yes, exactly, let's hang out together, let's do something together. How did you understand it? Because you know the meaning of the words, but because also you know pragmatics. Now this is the difference between just simple semantics and pragmatics. Pragmatics is when you know the meaning of conversation. You understand what it means to say words but indirectly. Okay? So, sentence again are used differently by speakers on different occasions. Remember, the occasion here, when we speak about an occasion, it means the context. Okay, so the context really means the occasion. The context is more the technical word for the word occasion. Okay, context is the speaker, the time, the place. Now, we're saying that the gap between speaker meaning and sentence meaning, there's a big gap between them. And sometimes this gap is so big that you can convey very unintelligible intentions by using a sentence that has a literal meaning that it sounds nonsensical, sounds funny. And so that's why we have problems. That's why sometimes conversation between people is problematic. That's why people get into a fight. That's why people don't understand each other. Because the gap between the speaker meaning and the sentence meaning is always great. Don't you sometimes have problems with your friends and you say, but you said this, that's what you meant, and she keeps on telling you that's not what I meant by my words, because there's always a speaker meaning inside. Now, what is the example that they give you in the book? Well, there's the example number one. It says, during a business meeting, it's a dog-eat-dog situation. Now notice the context, during a business meeting, because you're trying to give us a time and place. A business meeting and somebody says it's a dog-eat-dog situation. Now obviously there's no dogs and nobody's eating each other. But because you have knowledge of the world, and that's something that is very important here, every speaker has knowledge about the world around him. You have knowledge about what a dog is, what a cat is, what a university is, what a business is. You know, people have background knowledge, common sense, ma'lumat amma, about the world. And because they have this ma'lumat amma about the world, they're able to understand the speaker meaning. That's why we speak to an adult differently from the way we speak to a child. Because the child does not understand pragmatics. He doesn't have knowledge about the world around him. So, what do you think is happening? It's a dog-eat-dog situation when it's a business meeting. It's probably what? Yes, competition. It's competitive. It's a strong business meeting and everybody was trying to prove his point. And it's almost like dogs trying to compete or to win something. When a hungry person at the dinner table says, I could eat a horse, is he really going to eat a horse? No, but because the horse is big, and he's probably starving. Yes, he's so hungry that he can almost eat a horse. How do you know it? You know it because you know the meaning of the world, the knowledge of the world around you. Now, to account for this problem, what is the problem? The problem of the gap between sentence meaning and speaker meaning, and the way something sounds nonsensical, almost impossible to happen. What do? We analyze the sentence on two levels. First, we try to show what is wrong with such a sentence, meaning why it can't be literally true that you can eat a horse. It can't possibly be true. So the first thing that you want to say is to demonstrate how it can not be true. And secondly, you want to see how the speakers manage to communicate something even though they know it's not true. So you see how you're analyzing? A lot you can understand when two people speak, and you can understand the problematics of literal and figurative meaning, but we don't know how we do it. We do it so fast. We analyze two levels: the literal meaning and how you manage to say something even when the literal meaning is not true. Now, let's say a more simple example. Let's say that I go into class and it's a very bad rainy day. You know, it's a storm and it's raining and it's dusty and it's windy. And I come into class and say, oh, what nice weather we're having. Obviously, you realize immediately that I cannot be meaning my sentence literally. Why? Because you analyze it on the first level. It's ironic, it's sarcastic, but how do you understand that it's sarcastic? Now, if you said it to a child, he won't understand. He will take your sentence meaning. But because you're an adult, you have to first of all look at the world around you, realize that what you're saying is different from how the world is, and then try to put some kind of speaker meaning in it and say, well, I'm trying to be sarcastic. So, having said that, the big question is really, how do semantics study meaning? What is the methods? What do they use? Now remember, the semantics is a relatively new area in the field of semantics, in the field of linguistics, because semantics is a linguistic discipline. But it took linguists some time to develop a theory of semantics. It was very hard for them to develop the theory. It wasn't easy. It was easier to do phonetics, it was easier to do morphology, but it wasn't easy developing a method for semantics. So, what is it that we're doing? What are the methods of semantics? And again, Unit 1 tries to tell you just basic ABCs about what kind of data is available for semantics. The first thing that we need to know is that the native speakers of the language, the native speaker, is the primary source of information about meaning. You get your most information about meaning from your native speaker. Why? Because he knows the meaning of his words. If there's a student or a professor of semantics, for example, he doesn't have any advantage over a normal person who speaks the language in terms of the basic data. What we mean by data means what do we look at? For example, the data of phonetics are sounds. So what is the data of semantics? It has to be the meaning of words. And we're saying here that in terms of data, the native speaker and the professor or the one who is specialized in semantics will be the same. One is not more informed than the other. So what does the book try to give you? They try to give you an example of what kind of data semanticists study. And they give you a series of true statements. And each of these statements is a fact that falls under the scope of semantics. And the scope is very important here. That's why they give you these exercises, for you to look at what the scope, the range of semantics is. What do semantics study? And it gives you also some basic facts about meaning. And these basic facts are what we're going to take and develop into a theory. So the first thing that semanticists did when they wanted to look or they wanted to develop a theory is that they looked at the specific data, bayanat. right? Data. We had to look at the data first and then try to arrange the data into some kind of theory. So the data is like that. Let's look at what the data is. And as I said, semanticists try to set up a theory, and they give you a definition about what a theory is. The theory is just facts that you can describe about the world around you. And we want to look at what these facts of semantics are. And these facts are here's the first set of facts, and they're under the practice, right? And they tell you, mark each of the following statements either true or false. So, you want to go ahead and respond to the poll if you want to, because I set it up over here. What they want you to do is mark either the statements either true or false. So, if we say alive means the opposite of dead, is this true or false? Right. It is true. It is true because you know the meaning of alive, and you know the meaning of dead, and you know that these two are the opposite of each other. Again, this is a fact about meaning. Boy has an opposite meaning from self. Okay, it's true. It's the opposite of self. Caesar is and is not. Caesar is and is not a meaningful English language. Sorry, Caesar is not a meaningful English sentence. If Caesar is, if you say Caesar is, or Caesar is and, is that a meaningful sentence in English? It isn't, obviously, so it's true. It is not a meaningful English language because you know that a sentence to be meaningful, if you use is, you have to have an adjective after. You have to say Caesar is nice, Caesar is good, Caesar is whatever, or you can have a preposition like Caesar is here, Caesar is there, Caesar is behind the door, right? You have to have something after is, but you can't have after is the word and. And so because you know your language, therefore you can know that this is not a meaningful sentence. Caesar is a prime number is nonsensical. Is that true or false? Caesar is a prime number is nonsensical. It's true. Well, if you say Caesar is a prime number is nonsensical, you have to say true, not false, people. Don't get yourself confused, right? 3 is not complete, so it is not meaningful. But number 4 is Caesar is a prime number is nonsensical. It has to be true because you cannot say Caesar is a number. We know for sure that Caesar is the name of a person or a pet or something. And so you can't say that Caesar is a prime number. And the sentence obviously is nonsensical. It's true. Caesar is a man is nonsensical. That would be false, right? Caesar is a man is not nonsensical because it has meaning. Caesar definitely could be a man, right? What they're trying to tell you is that you know how to answer these questions right away. They are very simple sentences. It's very easy for you to get the right answer, basically because you know the meaning of your language. But all of those goes under the data of semantics. Now let's look at something a little bit more difficult. Both of John's parents are married to aunts of mine is in a sense contradictory, describing an impossible situation. So both of John's parents are married to aunts. Is that possible? Why not? It's true, yes. It's nonsensical. It's impossible. Why is it impossible? Because what? Why is both of John's parents are married to aunts of mine an impossible situation? Somebody tell me why it's impossible. What do you mean they are relatives, Shema? Now why is it? Both of John's parents are married to aunts of mine. Exactly, females. The two aunts are female, and John's parents are male and female. So there's no way that the two females can get married to each other, right? So obviously this is an impossible situation. How do you know that? Because you know that parents need to be male, female, and you know that aunts are female, and you know that to be married, you have to have a male, female. So do you see how many pieces of facts you know? And how easy it's for you to understand that this is an impossible situation? Now let's look at 7. If the sentence John killed Bill is true of any situation, then so is the sentence Bill is alive. Now is that true or false? John killed Bill is true. Can the sentence Bill is alive be true as well? Yes, it's false, because there's no way it could be true. Why not? Why is it impossible for this sentence to be true as well? Yes, as you said, Atayba, Bill is dead. He can't be killed and alive at the same time. So yes, kill and alive. To kill someone means that you already have to cause him to die. You can't say, I killed the cat, but he was smiling the next day. You can't do that. Because in the meaning of kill, inside the meaning of kill, is the idea that this person is already dead. And if he's already dead, then he's no longer alive. But all of it depends on you understanding the word kill means to be dead as well. If you say, for example, like something, let's say, a little bit easier. I slapped John versus I kicked John versus, for example, I punched John. Now, a series of actions, right? I slapped him, I kicked him, I punched him. And all of those are a series of verbs, right? Slapped and kicked and punched. But within them, they have other meanings. It's not just a matter of slapping someone. To slap someone, what are you using? Are you using a stick, for example? Are you using a weapon? Are you using a sword? I slapped him. Yes, exactly, by the hand, but not only the hand, the palm, right? الكف اليد, right? The palm of your hand. That's the only way to slap. Or a book, no, you can slap someone with a book, but usually you slap someone with your hand. If you wanted to slap him with a book, you say, I slapped John with a book. That's a different thing. But if you just say slap, you're using your palm of your hand. Now, if you use kick, what are you using? Your foot, exactly. There's no way that you can understand kick as using your hand. And if you wanted to use your head, for example, you say, I kicked him with my head. It's a different thing. It's probably you did something that, is kind of funny with your head. But once you say kick, it's understood that it's within the meaning of kick is the word leg itself. What about punched? Exactly. You're doing a fist. It's with your hand, but the hand is no longer open. The hand is no longer with the palm of your hand. Your hand is now into a fist, and then you're hitting him with it, with your fist, because it's punched. You can say boxed, but if you say boxed, that would mean that you're using your fist yet, but you're probably wearing some kind of glove or something, and you're boxing him. Or it's much harder than punching him, because it's boxing him. But in any case, every single word has meanings embedded inside it. And all native speakers will know the meaning of those words. It's just if you know the language, you know the meaning. Let's look at 8. If someone says, "Can you pass the salt?" he is normally not asking about his hearer's ability to pass the salt, but requesting the hearer to pass the salt. Yes, that's true. It's a request. Remember speaker meaning and sentence meaning? You now can't say, "Can you pass?" meaning have you the ability. You can't answer, "Yes, I can pass you the salt," and you don't pass it. Because nobody asks you whether you are able to pass the salt or not. It's just a polite way of requesting you to pass the salt. It's just a simple request. But again, this is part of the domain of semantics, because we want to see how people ask for something, agree to something, invite someone, insult someone. All of these are actions that we do. But we do it indirectly. I mean, you can be impolite to someone, you can insult someone in an indirect way, because you know how to use the sentence in a way to convey a certain message. Now, if someone says, "I tried to buy some rice," there it is, I tried to buy some rice, his hearer would normally infer that he had actually failed to buy the rice. Yes, that's true. And the thing that you want to look at here is the word infer. Infer is like istintaj, istinbat. It's what you understand from the speaker meaning, basically because of the word tried. Tried means muhawla, right? But it failed. I tried to means it was just a trial, but I never succeeded in doing it. So you see, it's just a simple word like tried, but you understand or you infer that you actually failed to buy the rice. Again, what do these tell us? These are all the scope of semantics. These are all the things that a native speaker of the language knows about his language. Everybody knows semantics, because everybody knows the meaning of his language. And so therefore, we know these data, we understand them, but we don't know how to express them in a theory. What semantics does is to try to take all this data that the native speaker does and to organize it into some kind of theory. And the next thing we can do is to move from the theory to generalizations, what we call generalization. So we don't want to talk about particular facts, like alive is the opposite of dead. No, I just want to go into generalization, statements, ta'mimat, umumiyya, about certain things. So we can say something like proper names, like John or German Hans or French Jean, have a different kind of meaning from common nouns, like man or man or Now what does that mean? It means that there's a certain type of class called proper names. Proper names اللي هي الأسماء, like Mary, John, Paul, even in Arabic, Ahmad, Saad, Fatin, all of these are proper names. And they do not mean the same thing as common nouns, like man or French or German man. Now, why is the book suddenly talking about the difference between English and French and German? Just to tell you that semantics is more universal. It's not that, yes, we're looking at English semantics, but what is true for English semantics is also true for all the other languages as well. It works for all. This is a general theory. Let's look at something else. Prepositions, like English under or French sous, have a different kind of meaning from proper names and common nouns. Yes, obviously, a preposition just means different. Remember, in Arabic, we say that that sentences are divided into al-asma, wal-af'al, wal-huruf. Right? Because these are three different things. They mean they're three different things. Who puts them this way? Who classified them this way? Semanticists did, according to their meaning. And so on. That's how we move from small facts into generalizations. And again, this is just to show you the scope of what we mean when we say the scope of semantics. At the end of this unit, now this is basically the end of Unit 1. At the end of the unit, there's a series of study guides and exercises. And they tell you right away that you have to understand the meaning of what is semantics. You have to know the difference between sentence meaning, you have to know the difference between speaker meaning, you have to know what language is, obviously. You have to know linguistics, and that semantics is a branch of linguistics. You have to know the native speaker. The native speaker is the informant. The informant is the people who gives you the information about a certain science, the informant. The people that you interview to get the meaning of words. And obviously what we mean by the theory of semantics. Now, as I told you, at the end of each unit, you will have a study guide with many questions. And this is one of the questions that is there in your study guide. Now, the question says, which sentences are more reflective of speaker meaning and which are more reflective of sentence meaning? What does that mean? It means I want you to say which is speaker meaning and which is sentence meaning. Let's look at the sentences. I mean to be there tomorrow. Now look at this, there's mean. So what is he doing here, the speaker? Does he want to say it's a speaker meaning or it's a sentence meaning? No, it doesn't mean that he's not going to be there. He says, I mean means I want to be there tomorrow. I mean to be there tomorrow means I want to be there tomorrow, intend to be there tomorrow. And so is it a reflective of speaker meaning or sentence meaning? Yes, exactly, Sharifa, sentence meaning. I just means I want to be there tomorrow. What about a stalling car may mean a tune-up. Stalling means it's not working very well, it's slow. And a tune-up means it needs fixing. So if I say a stolen car may mean a tune-up, it means if I have a car that is not working, that means it has to be fixed. Is this speaker meaning or sentence meaning? Obviously sentence meaning, right? Sorry, it's obviously speaker meaning. It's a stolen car, it's not moving well, and so this will mean that it needs a tune-up. So there is a problem of the speaker meaning, what the speaker intends to say, but not what the sentence means, because stolen car and tune-up don't mean the same thing. Calligraphy means beautiful handwriting. Now, is this sentence meaning or speaker meaning? Sentence meaning, yes, because calligraphy is the art of writing. So calligraphy and beautiful handwriting mean the same thing. So I'm really talking about the meaning of a sentence, the words in a sentence. I'm not going into the mind of the speaker to see what he means. It wasn't what he said, but what he meant. What is that? Obviously, speaker meaning, what the speaker meant, but not exactly what he said. What does the German word Hund mean? What is that? What does the German word Hund mean? Sentence meaning, yes, because Hund is a certain word, and you want to know what the word means. These clouds mean rain. Is that speaker meaning or sentence meaning? Speaker meaning, yes, because clouds and rain don't mean the same thing. It's the speaker who wants to say that as long as these clouds are there, there will be some kind of rain. Again, another study guide. Which of the following items appear to illustrate sentence meaning and which illustrate speaker meaning? A bachelor is an unmarried man. Sentence meaning, yes. A red light means stop. It's not sentence meaning, people. It's speaker meaning, because red light does not mean stop. Only if the speaker knows it. But in the dictionary, let's look at it this way. Sentence meaning means what the word means in the dictionary. The actual meaning of the word. Not what the speaker wants the words to mean. A final product they put out. They is strongly emphasized. Forget about this here. It's going to be a little bit difficult. But they here does not mean a particular person. It means anybody in general. So it's not sentence meaning, it's just speaker meaning. The sentence in the following pair appear to be opposite in meaning. The bear killed the man killed the bear. Yes, again, sentence meaning, because they are talking about the opposite of the meaning. And so therefore we're talking about the meaning in terms of dictionary meaning. My feet are killing me. Again, speaker meaning, because it's not literal. It couldn't possibly be true. So you're talking about the speaker meaning. Now, in an exam, I can tell you, for example, which are say whether the following sentences reflect speaker meaning or sentence meaning. All you have to do is ask yourself, does this refer to the meaning of a dictionary, or does this refer to a meaning of the speaker meaning himself? Now, I think I'll have to stop here so we can record the session. And we're going to meet by next Wednesday. I will start unit number 2. And I will also continue with the exercise guide. Now, the exercises, as I said, are very important. So you need to get the book and do these exercises so that it will be easier for you to do the exams. And most of the exam will be from the course, will be from the book. I'm not going to give you anything from outside the book. That's why you need to go through all of these things. Yes, the sessions are being recorded. Okay, I see the red light on, so it will be recorded, inshallah. Okay, people, we'll stop over here. For next time, just read again unit number 1. Yes? نعم.
إذا كنت نبغى نسأل عن نبغى نسأل عن الواجب.
نعم.
وش المطلوب؟ لأن بس لقينا جمل.
الواجب the wajib is going to be about referring expressions. We didn't reach referring expressions yet, so you don't have to do anything now. Okay? I will tell you when you start the wajib. This is assignment number 1. It's not due now. Okay? It's not due now. It will be due when we start referring expressions. So, Mazuga, don't worry about the wajib now. It's there. You can look at it. You can go to the chapter on reference and see if you can do it yourself or not. But right now, it's not you. Okay? In wajib, what we have to do is do it, underline it, and then send it to me. Do you have a button for submit? How do you usually submit your assignments? Marzuka, how do you submit assignments usually?
نعيد إرسال الواجب. حلو ونرجع
حلو. That's exactly what you do. Yes, that's it. And I will see
كده ما نبغى يكون مرات. أيوة لأن مرات يكون له وقت محدد ما بدينا.
Yes, so don't do anything now. Okay, don't do anything now. I will tell you once you start. Once there is an assignment, you will find it in the message. Your assignment is due. Please have it again. Other than that, don't do anything, okay? Fine. Okay, people, I'll see you next Wednesday. For now, just read as much as you can, but don't do any wajib, don't do any assignments. Just wait for me until I start next time, next session. I will tell you when to begin. Okay? Fine. I'll see you then. See you later. I'll see you next Wednesday, inshallah.